Good evening and welcome to Restoration Pointe. My name is Jerry Jensen. I am a child of the one true King who has been given grace and mercy because of struggles with codependency, food addiction, and anxiety. Thank you. As we get started, of course, this is, for those of you who are watching at home, this is a nuts and bolts video. This is not a program that we have here. This is real life, and this is where you do the work. You know why you grow? Because you're doing the work. And as I mentioned that, I always want to point out we will be sharing our mission statement here very quickly. But when you realize that people can go through, and I say go through, or you can grow through your recovery. I don't know about you, but I would choose to want to grow through my recovery because then that means I will have learned something, hopefully. Anyway, before we get started, and Gary, turn me down on the monitors up here, please. I want to be able to share with you our mission statement for Restoration Pointe. If you go ahead and throw that up there on the screen. Our mission statement is, and read it with me, to provide a place of refuge for restoration and healing for the suffering, where we will teach life-changing biblical truths, disciple and equip with the practical tools needed to be sent out to serve the church and community and to live life successfully in Jesus Christ. Now, as a reminder, and I was reminded this last week, that if I am speaking too fast, you in the audience, you do this. That means draw it down, Brother Jerry, draw it down. We're going to be going back over our, today's title is called Taking Back Your Life. We did common sense, some simple common sense and taking back your life. So this is kind of like the rest of Taking Back Your Life. And for those of you who don't know, you see it on the screen, it says, Taking Back Your Life, Pig 4. Now you're going to say, what is that? Well, I'm glad that you asked. But as I start this, I want to go back last week and review some things so that you will understand the whole context, what you're learning. Obviously, what is a pig? Anybody can say that out loud? Problem of immediate gratification. You know the word selfishness? Then you know what a pig is. Problem, immediate gratification. This, unfortunately, is the foundation of our struggles. Nobody gets addicted because they see somebody else doing something. They may see it and mimic it, but then it's all about me, myself, and I. You'll hear that as well. We also learned about the 7 P's. How many of you know what that is yet? Oh, I get a bunch of blank stares. All right, are you ready? And by the way, if you have not grabbed you a sheet of paper, do so. There should be a pen in front of you. Grab it, write on it. We have plenty of paper, and you can write on it as well. But wisdom dictates the 7 P's. Now, I'll say it for you slowly. Proper, preventative, planning, prevents, past, poor performances. Larry still don't know what it is.
No, I can't keep up with you.
I'm saying it slow, and here's what I want to say. After a while, you'll learn it. Of course, I should know it, shouldn't I? Proper, preventative, planning, prevents, past, poor performances. The 7 P's. Now, you know I don't throw softballs, right? Your recovery is going to be difficult. That's only because you are going to apply yourself to learning. Another thing that I've shared with you, that I've been sharing with you for probably close to 10 years. Seek an accountability partner, but now what I add on to that is by their life experiences. Not just because they look like they're available, but you are going to go to, for example, if you're going to go and have some type of surgery done on you, do you want to have a first-year resident work on you, or do you want to have someone that's had experience in working on whatever the surgery that you're going to have performed? You get my point? You seek somebody because of their life experiences. And of course, I like to throw in there because of gray hair. That's sometimes an easy shot, but that's not necessarily the case. Anyway, let me continue. When an evil thought comes into your mind, and it all happens to all of us, and probably a lot all the time, you first say out loud, "Stop! I'm not going there." You grab that thought by its addictiveness, you grab that addictive thought, you take it captive, you say, "I am not going there." Now tell me, have you heard that in recovery meetings before? No, you have not. As you have already started, when you are journaling, that's why you write things down, family. You write things down so that you'll remember them. But when you're journaling and you find out, and we've talked about last week, if you have someone or some peoples that have not been good for you, and of course in your struggles, you write their name down and maybe what they have triggered you with, then you kick them to the curb. That means adios amigos. I am not going to go back to that addictiveness, that captivates my thoughts into their selfishness. Then I become selfish because I want to grow my pig. True hope, family, is rooted in a pursuit of knowledge about God's promises, leading us to trust even when we cannot see the outcome. Write this last part down. Very simple. Pursue patience with knowledge. Pursue patience with knowledge. And by the way, if you have missed any of these teachings, obviously we're on number 4. We are on YouTube under Restoration Pointe Recovery, and then you can go back and review those. And I would honestly encourage you to do so, because it's going to be helping you to grasp what we're learning here. You remember our mission statement? We want to be sent out to serve the church and community. You don't just get all this and you keep all that goodness inside, do you? You tell people about the good things that happen to you, and I hope that you tell them about Restoration Pointe. But tell people good news, because they will grow in that. Nobody ever says, "Man, I love that bad news I got today." Doesn't work like that. Are you ready to learn some more tonight? We're going to talk about taking back your life. We did this last week. We're going to do a little bit more this week. Whether one's life is in chaos, mixed up, or in need of improvements, and that's all of us, right? Turning our life into our private masterpiece should be now listen, a lifelong process. Will you get it the first time? Maybe not. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Keep doing it. Keep going back over. Those who are wise are goal-oriented and purpose-driven. All of us, for a veritable plethora of reasons and excuses, understandably struggle with being purpose-driven and laser-focused. You ever heard that word, laser-focused? That means you're focusing on one thing. If you've ever seen a laser beam, you shine that and it goes straight. Life does happen, and it happens repeatedly, and it obscures our view. Since we're responsible for all of our thoughts, and you're responsible for your thoughts and your actions, this could be a very good place in which to begin restoration self-improvement projects. You ever thought about doing that for yourself? How many of you can fix somebody else? Doesn't work that way. How many of you can work on yourself? All hands should go up. Areas of consideration might include people, friends, associates, activities, hobbies, exercise, leisure time, choice of thoughts, etc., etc. We can prepare plans for adverse and problematic situations with which we must frequently encounter. You ever had anybody here, you ever had a straight good month, no wrongs, everything fantastic? Probably wouldn't be that way if I even said a great week. If at this point we haven't taken our life by the horns, because it's about you, then this could be the best time to start taking charge right here, right now. And to be honest with the family, it's of necessity, and that is the wisest step. No one but me, myself, and I will ever have to give an account of our thoughts, words, intentions, and actions except us. Therefore, it simply makes perfect sense to take back control, only surrendering our will to those in authority over us. Obviously, we will have people that are in authority over us, and we are supposed to pray for them, by the way, in case you didn't know that. Anyway, let's talk about dethroning our denial. How many of you know what denial is? All your hands should go up. If your hands don't go up, you're in denial. Every one of us. The wisest first step would be to own up to our own uglinesses, since denial only increases our life's difficulties. Likened to having an incurable cancer, the sooner we face our host of realities, the quicker that we can reach out for the hope of cures and miracles, which still take place every day. I don't know about you, but I still believe in miracles. I know that they happen. As a matter of fact, I am one. Common sense, you've heard it, says own it. Whose problems? They're yours, ours, mine. I have to work on it. It does help when you are with a family that you can help grow together, so please don't miss what I'm saying. We have to step out of denial. Stop running away from the truth, family. Embrace it instead. Now, if you know me, you know where I'm going next, right? Embrace the pain. The first time I heard that from my mentor, he said that, and I said, how can I do that? I hurt so bad. But you will grow through it quicker and become stronger if you do. Otherwise, you'll keep finding other things to do and not focus on the pain, and then that pain is still there. It doesn't go away until you address it. Face the truth. You're human, right? Every single one of us, whether you're watching or you're here, we're human. Everyone on earth struggles. Everyone. I don't care who your name is. I don't care what your title, your position is. We all struggle with something. And unless you know how to beat that sin, and that sin will not be totally wiped out until we step into heaven. This side, we have to deal with it. But sadly, far too many run from facing the truth. It is rightly and truthfully said, and you've heard it, the truth will set you free. Correct. That means our denial must come to an end. Take responsibility for your past. After all, it's your past and no one else's, right? You never raise your hand when somebody says, what did you do in their past? No, it's about what happened for you in your past. What you can own up to, what you can correct. And I'll be honest with you, you're grown up, it's the right thing to do, isn't it? Own up to your mistakes. This does not mean immature kids in adult-sized bodies. Adults take responsibility for both the good and the bad. Whereas the immature actively live the partying lifestyle as they shirk and evade their own self-made messes. If you have people like that in your life, I hope that you walk away from them. Seek wise counsel. I've never realized how much this is true, especially in life. When you come here, you have the ability to be with other peoples, and we will have small group meetings. The men will be in the back, ladies will be in the side room after this. That is where I believe the greatest work that happens here on a Saturday night occurs, because then you gather together, you talk about what you've learned, how you are dealing with things, and that's your time to James 5:16. Confess your sins to one another, and you will be healed. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. These things matter, family. Though somewhat enigmatic of the confession is good for the soul, it does lead sometimes to solutions being uncovered. And as everyone knows, wise people are problem solvers. Would you agree? While the immature stumble through pitfalls, immovable walls, and troubles compounded by loss and disaster. Now, your first scripture I'm going to share with you tonight is going to be found in the book of Proverbs. Proverbs 11, verse 14. Ready? I'll read it slowly. For lack of guidance, a nation falls, but victory is won through many advisors. Proverbs 11:14. Once a person comes to their senses, whether out of desperation and or from finally being sick and tired of being sick and tired, because their souls in their mouth, they cry for real help. And at long last, real and lasting healing can begin. Is it really wise to prolong your healing? Denial does that. It prolongs your healing. You know, you and I can be prepared to succeed. Suppose for a moment you're at your wit's end, somehow seemingly overnight, and I'm sure you're probably thinking of many things. Life as you have known it is spiraling wildly out of control. Perhaps you're one of those who feel that what you're doing well enough, and then boom, disaster strikes. Again, when somebody asks how you're doing, don't say fine. Fouled up, insecure, neurotic, emotional. That is what fine acrostic is. Anyway, let me share with you a couple of illustrations that can help you to understand. As a child, how many of you had spelling bees or spelling contests? You went to school, I'm sure you did. Did you ever think, if I just showed up, I'll do good? What did it mean that you needed to do? Called study. Anyway, you did prepare and you misspelled cat or dog. We can't just show up in life, we must prepare actively. James 1:5, I love this verse and I use it probably as I pray with people every week. If we lack wisdom, we should ask God, who gives it liberally without holding back. How many of you need wisdom? You're not hearing me. How many of you need wisdom? Everybody. You need wisdom every day. As I mentioned before, at Restoration Pointe, you participate in your recovery, and that also means you're going to be raising your hand, you're going to be engaged. If you're not raising your hand, not doing anything, you're going to go. Also, and certain gender of people will understand this next illustration. Have you ever tried to assemble a piece of furniture without reading the instructions? After now, you probably think after that hour passes, where's the instructions? Why didn't I just read them when I first got it? The same goes for life, family. Without preparation, we risk instability. Proverbs 21 tells us, 21:5 tells us that the plans of the diligent lead to abundance. It emphasizes the importance of preparation. You and I need to be prepared. But somehow, instead of being the batter, that you find yourself at a ball game and you're the one that's being knocked around the park. At some point, everyone will find themselves at the breaking point at the end of their rope. Worse yet, you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. As you're looking in disgust into the mirror, you tell yourselves something or some things have got to change. This is getting way beyond old, because sometimes we like to repeat the same mistake over and over and over again, do we not? When that happens, you and I have not prepared. We have not planned. We have just let life happen and not even address it. Maybe you're clueless about blindly stumbling around in the dark. Start out by seeking those persons of wisdom which you think might be of some assistance. One of the things I share with you, especially when we do our steps, is that we need to be here every week. I'm pretty much adamant about that because, and I do know that life happens as far as somebody may pass away, a trip going somewhere, whatever, that is understandable. But for the most part, you need to be here because this is you working on you. Because when you don't come here, then you don't get to grow together. You have said, I'll do it later. And can I be honest with you? It's easy to watch some things at home, but to me, if I had a choice of being, for example, being at church and being in the service or being at home watching the service, how easy is that? And then I don't have to pay attention. Maybe somebody calls while I'm watching. This being here is the best for you and I. No substitutes. Desperate people won't give up, will they, until they get answers, as well as how and where to restart their life. You and I can restart our lives. We focus on Jesus Christ and Him crucified. Let me share some recovery strategies with you. Am I going too fast? Okay, because I hope that you're writing some things down, because I don't know anybody in this life that has got a perfect memory. Find yourself a peaceful place of solitude and quiet. Now, I'm going to say this part slowly, but I hope that you'll get it. For many, by design, it's a quiet time with one's coffee or tea, that personal time of contemplation and planning for the day's activities. You know where I'm going. The ideal time for most, whether one is a first, second, or third shift worker, is after 4 to 8 hours of uninterrupted rest. So you get the point. Whenever you wake up from sleeping, whatever your shift is, that's the best time, because your body is refreshed. How many of you are glad if you can get 6 to 8 hours of sleep? You're more able to function properly, are you not? That most often proves to be the ideal time is after, of course, you wake up. It's a time when our minds are, in my opinion, firing on all cylinders. Realize it or not, our minds are stronger and even better able to multitask and record information, in my opinion, than the greatest computers ever built by man. Because, see, God made you and I. He made this brain that you and I each have. That's not topped by a computer. That's my opinion, but I believe it. Our times of functionality are at their optimum. Create a window for planning and finding solutions after you're fully rested. Is this going to take work, family? Yeah, it's going to. Be a brainstormer and bring paper and pen. Don't just talk about it, write it, and then follow through on what you're going to do. Let me continue. One never knows when the next great idea may rise up from the ashes of defeat. God does take your ashes and make something beautiful out of them. The Scripture tells us that. Store and remember that lesson. Defeats are lessons after learning about the things that weren't our wise choices. I say that to you sincerely. Now you're one step and one day closer, plus you're moving forward in the truth. The truth will do what? Set you free. Failures and lessons are learned and progress is made. How many of you, if you have been pulled over by a police officer because maybe you did something illegal, I'll own up to it. As soon as you pull away and you've been talked to and whatever the police officer says, I'm going to drive slowly and I'm not going to go over the limit once. Nothing. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to do turn signals, everything right. That's just like God tapping on your shoulder. Did you see that? Maybe you got by with just a warning. Anyway, brainstorming, family, isn't some mystic and secret technique of the elect few. You and I can all brainstorm, especially after having that rest. Nor does it require an advanced degree in brainstorming. Brainstorming is a description of what our mind does automatically, whether we are awake or asleep. And I bet you guys have, and just as well as I have, many times your brain is racing about something. I'll be honest with you, I believe the best time, if you're concerned about falling asleep and too many things are in your mind, change those thoughts to praying and praising God. Praying for something, someone, praising God for whatever He has done. He's done everything for us. That gives you and I the time to focus on Him. Because you see, this life is not really about you. It's about Him. As He works in and through you, He will do something great and mighty. When a word or thought pops into our minds and we're brainstorming, write it down. Repeat this step, family, until you've drawn nothing but blanks. Now, you might be sitting there for a while, but who are you focusing on? You. Eliminate any random words or thoughts that you may have, because you might have them. The words and ideas which remain, prioritize them. Finally, think about and begin to formulate a plan. How many of you, by raising of hands, have an accountability partner? Perfect person to share it with. Perfect person to share it with. Do you want to plan for success? At any time, the unexpected storms will take us by surprise in a sneak attack. It does happen. This is the purpose for proactively preparing for any and all of the most likely situations which one day we will encounter. As I had mentioned, my mentor, he had shared with me a long time ago, 1 Corinthians 14:40. Now, I'm not going to read the entire thing to give a whole complex of that, but that 1 Corinthians 14:40 told me, but all things should be done decently and in order. That is actually about the church. But in mentioning that, that means preparation. So even tonight, I am prepared and have everything ready. If something goes wrong, then I still can counter, or what we might call pivot, to do something different if the need arises. But many people can call it proactive planning. Obviously, situations are going to come in which will overwhelm us like a runaway train, and it does happen. Life is like that at times. Fortunately for most, the aforementioned is the exception to the rule rather than the normal day-to-day problems of life. Tragedies and disasters are unwanted. Nevertheless, they're part of life's fabric. Do you ever think that God allows you and I to have these situations happen to us that we can grow through them later on? Nobody ever says, man, I enjoyed that trial. Of course, we're usually crying and upset about whatever it is you're going through, but later on, you're glad that God took you through it. I'll always be grateful that I became broken. You want to know something, family? In my life, and in my opinion, the best thing in life, other than accepting Jesus Christ, is accepting your brokenness and then turning to Him because you think you could do it yourself. And we have a God who's saying, I'll take you back. You've had it on your own. We know how that turned out, but I will give you an abundant life. If I think about it a lot, it really will make me upset and cry because I think, why did He allow me to grow through it? I say that sometimes there's a difference in two letters, go or grow. I want to grow through something. The wise are forward-thinking and proactive planners of their future. For those who are reactive, one would compare them to a farmer who closes his barn door after all his animals escaped. And then he still leaves it open. Proactive planners wisely close the barn door once the animals are safely back inside. You catch the difference? Now I'm going to talk about something that you may not like. It may not sound right. Do the worst first. Do the worst first. Starting right now, grab you a pen or paper and write down all your problems, people, places, addictions, and temptations, regardless of what they might be. Invest time to ensure that no stone gets left unturned. You want God to clean you of everything or just some things? This is just you and your time, and that let God bring to light the things that you need to help uncover.